Oklahoma landing a five-star offensive tackle in Michael Fasusi. Steve Wiltfong, man, let's start right there. You actually joined the live commitment as soon as he announced his pledge to the Sooners. What does it mean for Oklahoma landing five-star Fasusi?
Well, to go out and land one of the premier offensive linemen in the country, adding to one of the best offensive line classes in the country. As the Sooners transition to the SEC this year, this is a class that sets them up at the point of attack for years to come. Michael Fasusi, one of the most coveted players in the country at the position, only been playing football, since his freshman year. Yesterday, they celebrated their 5-year anniversary of coming over from Nigeria to the States. He didn't even know what American football was when he arrived. Quickly fell in love with the game. He's kind of a football junkie now, JD. Loves watching film. In fact, spent a lot of time watching film with his 3 finalists, Oklahoma, Texas, and Texas A&M. And that was the main thing for him. Which program is going to develop him the most? And he feels that at Oklahoma because of Bill Bedenbaugh's track record, the way they clicked watching film. Back in the spring when college coaches were on the road, JD, Bill Bedenbaugh spent 90 minutes over at Louisville High School, and they just watched film the entire time. Both Fasusi and Bill Bedenbaugh were running late to their next stop. Fasusi to class. Bill Bedenbaugh had to get to another school, but neither of them wanted to stop talking, watching ball. He's 6'5". He's 300 pounds. He can move. He can bend. He's ferocious. There's still a lot of upside there in the tank, and he adds to a terrific Oklahoma class alongside another blue chip offensive tackle in Ryan Foji.
I was going to say, Steve, they're stocking up the trenches now. I know they moved to the SEC this year, but landing a five-star offensive tackle and Michael Fasusi obviously doesn't hurt your efforts going forward as you move into this new era of Oklahoma football in the Southeastern Conference. You mentioned the O-line class. Who else is on the radar right now for them when it comes to continuing to fortify those trenches?
Well, yeah, when you look at what's in the fold, Ryan Foji, one of the best pass-blocking, strong-handed offensive linemen in the country. Darius Falava is an offensive lineman that they have committed on the interior. His dad, Al, played in the NFL as a safety out of Oregon State. He is built like these offensive linemen in the SEC look, 330, 340 pounds. Guys at Georgia and Alabama have won a lot of football games. He can pull. He's strong. He can move. He's a ferocious player. They want to add Andrew Babalola to the fold. They also have Owen Hollenbrook, a power lifter from in-state committed. Andrew Babalola is the missing piece, a 5-star offensive tackle from Kansas City, Missouri. He is a parent. You hear all the time, JD, that he is nearing his college decision. I believe it this time. I think he has a good idea where he's going to end up. And depending on who you're talking to, you get a different top 2. A lot of folks that used to say and Stanford are saying and Michigan now. So I think if you ask around Palo Alto, Stanford, and Michigan, if you ask around Norman, Oklahoma, and Michigan, if you ask around Auburn and Michigan. And then Michigan, I think they've always felt good. I think if you ask people around there, they think they're battling. I think they would view Stanford as the biggest adversary in that recruitment. Missouri rounds out the top 5. I think there's some confidence around the Plains they can pull it off. I don't think there's a better relationship out there than the one that he's formed with Coach Thornton, Coach Petard, and the Auburn staff. But Michigan, what they bring on and off the field, I think that's very attractive. Stanford's academics, the new staff going into their second year, and what they're building is exciting as well. So it'll be interesting to see where Babalola falls. Stanford's the on 3 RPM favorite, but we've been talking a lot about Michigan's momentum over the last couple months. And then Auburn and Oklahoma certainly aren't going away. And Missouri trying to be the dark horse as the 5th finalist.
Steve, I don't want to gloss over this. The pronunciation game this morning is extremely strong from Babalola to what was the other name? Falava?
Yeah, Darius Falava committed to Oklahoma out of Utah. That was a big win for the Sooners, beating Utah for him. Utah, they boast some of the best offensive lines year in and year out when you're talking about those West Coast-based programs, and that's a guy Oklahoma coveted. Again, looks like an SEC player right now, comes from terrific pedigree, a guy that's not ranked as high as maybe some others in the Oklahoma class, but when people are talking at the end of the cycle, who's the sleeper in Oklahoma's class, he's going to be a trendy pick for the size and athleticism and the tenacity he plays with.
The Sooners continuing to surge towards potentially another top 10 class in the 2025 cycle.